What is energy? Energy is the ability to cause motion and change. The faster a given object is moving, the more energy it possesses. Energy is massless but exists in interactions between matters. States of matters are liquids, solids, and gases. Energy that allows objects to move or change is called kinetic energy. The faster an object changes or moves, the more energy the object has. We will start the lesson by reading the book Newton and Me by Lynn Mayer and illustrated by Sherry Rogers. We will also start the lesson by introducing new vocabulary words into our vocabulary wall. The first word will be force, a push or pull. Push, to move something away from yourself. Pull, to move or haul something towards yourself. Friction, an object pushing on another object, slowing it. Acceleration, increase in the rate or speed of something. Motion, the action of moving or changing positions. There are 3 laws of motion that are associated with motion. They are called the laws of motion or Newton's laws of motion. Law 1 is an object at rest will remain at rest unless acted upon by an outside force. As you can see, the coin on the paper stays still until the finger pushes the paper away. Then the coin falls into the cup. Let's see that again. The paper stays still, the coin rests on the paper. The finger comes and pushes the paper away, and then the coin will fall into the cup. Newton's second law. Newton's second law is the force equals mass times acceleration. Acceleration is produced when a force acts on a mass. The greater the mass of the object being accelerated, the greater the amount of force needed to accelerate the object. In this example, you will see the man pushing the car. He is pushing the car, which weighs 1,000 kilograms at 0.05 meters per second per second. The formula would be written as F equals 1,000 times 0.05. The answer is 50 newtons. The force is 50 newtons. In this example, you will see force equals mass times acceleration. The acceleration is the bat moving forward, the mass would be the ball, and the force would be how far the ball goes. Newton's third law. Newton's third law is for every action there is an opposite or equal reaction. If you let go of a balloon filled with air, the force of the air will make the balloon go in the opposite direction that the air is blowing. For example, in the photos, the balloon, if held sideways, the air blows to the left, the balloon will go to the right. If the air is blowing down, the balloon will go up. If you and your friend are pushing towards each other, you will stay in the same position until one of you move in a different direction. Now let's move to our lab. The lab is called Losing My Marbles. These are the materials that you will need. You first need to split your class into groups of 3s or 4s. Give 3 different color marbles per student, 2 plastic tubs per group, water, play sand, a flat surface to work on, goggles, a lab coat, and science journal. You will fill tub 1 up with water and tub 2 up with sand. Have student 1 from each group place their marble into the tub of water. Tell them to wait until the water stops moving and to back away from the table so they're not hitting the water. Then tell them to slowly use 1 finger to push their marble to watch it go through the water. Remember, 1 finger only. This doesn't have to be a hard push. They should not be making splashes in the water. Have them open their science journals and write down what happened to marble number 1. While student 1 is writing down, tell student number 2 from the group to follow the directions on the table for the water part of the lab. Keep going until all the students in each group have finished their water part of the lab. Marble number 2. Tell student 1 from the group to place their marble into the tub of sand. Tell them to push their marble with 1 finger. Tell them to watch what happens to their marble and then write down what marble 2 does in their science journal. Tell student number 2 from each group to follow the directions on the table for the sand part of the lab. Keep going until every student has finished the sand part of the lab. Marble number 3. Have student 1 in the group place their marble on a flat surface. This could be their desk or the floor. Tell them to push their marble with one finger. Do not flick or throw the marble. Tell them to observe their marble and then write down what their marble did in their science journal. Tell student number 2 to follow the directions on the table for the flat surface part of the lab. Keep it going until every student has finished with the flat surface part of the lab. Time to review. Once all your students have had a chance to do all 3 labs and record their data, it's review time. Let's start with follow-up questions and discussions. Ask the students if their predictions match with the outcome of each experiment. Next, play the audiobook, A Crash Course in Forces in Motion with Max Axiom, Super Scientist by Emily Schoen. Finally, you will follow up with review on Newton's laws. Newton's first law. Newton's first law is an object will remain at rest and will stay at rest until acted upon by an outside force. Newton's second law is force equals mass times acceleration. And Newton's third law, for every action there is an opposite or equal reaction. Finally, you will close out your lesson with assessments. You can do a mini formal assessment in the way of a vocabulary test, going over vocabulary words that we had started at the beginning of our lesson. Other assessments could be performance-based assessments that were conducted in the lab as an individual and as a group. Thank you for taking the time to view my 5E lesson plan, Losing Your Marbles, Things in Motion.